bulk.
Oh my god, I got way too buff.
Yeah.
Can we lead the podcast with that?
All right, I'm all hyped up because I was all stoked, work, gym, podcast. So I got home from the gym and Kevin had food cooked, so I immediately scarfed all that down and I'm like, all right, cool, great. I'm gonna go shower and get ready for the podcast. And I'm like, oh my God, where is my phone? So then I'm like, I left it on the cycle bike. So I just jumped in my car, was driving to the gym, and then of course, I see a sign that says bridge opening now in progress, and I'm like, no, this is gonna take forever. So luckily I got there and it just closed. So then I was able to zip right into the gym and run around the whole gym looking for my phone, and I'm like, oh goddamn, somebody stole it. But I'm like, before I leave, I'll check the front desk. And then I asked the guy, and I'm like, did anyone turn in a phone? And he's like, he kind of gave me a look like, no. And then he opened up the drawer and he's like, oh, what kind? And I'm like, Samsung. He's like, this is it. And I'm like, I have angels looking out for me, because there was also both of my health insurance, my 2022 health insurance card in it, and $40.
This might be ignorant of me to say, but I feel like women will more often lose their phone than men, because men will have it in their pants pocket generally.
Yeah.
Where women don't always have pants pockets.
We
it's
never
not as
have
common.
pockets.
Yeah.
If we do have a pocket, it's the size, it can fit like a quarter.
A single quarter.
Yeah, so you just might put it in your bag and assume it's in your bag, so you might lose it that way.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whereas before I leave the gym, I take it out of whatever bag or wherever it was and put it in my pocket.
Oh, I don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you may not have a pocket to put it in.
The bigger question for me, Nikki, is do you listen to music at the gym?
I was in a class. I was in a cycle class.
Oh, okay. So you didn't. I got you. You didn't.
Usually, I don't listen to music though. I just kind of listen to whatever they're playing.
Oh.
I'm like the only person in the gym without headphones or anything. I'm just going hard, just old fashioned, just going hard.
Former Two Socks co-host Emily Schmolitz would say that you're a psycho for that.
For going without headphones?
She's like, how could you possibly not listen to music and go to the gym?
I mean, it is a lot better when I do, but I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
I've talked to some people who enjoy listening to podcasts during a workout, which I don't know. I feel I guess it's something to pass the time for sure, but I like to try to heighten my enthusiasm or emotion or whatever during a workout. So I don't feel like most podcasts would do that for me.
Yeah, no, I do listen to podcasts pretty frequently at the gym, but it's not to heighten it's not boosting my performance. Like a good song with loud volume might, get me energized for a big set. Where the podcast, I might actually pause, especially if it's a comedy podcast, I'll pause it and then I'll go into my set. Because actual lifting of the weights is only 20 seconds.
That's funny. I'm just imagining you mid rep on the bench press, and you just bust out laughing and drop it on yourself.
It's before where I'm like, damn, that's really funny, but I can't laugh. I'm just smiling, bench pressing.
Just let it out, Devin. Let out your laughs. No one else is gonna hear it anyway. They all have headphones in.
I was gonna say it would be awkward if I just pressing up a lot of weight, laughing what the fuck? And they're like, oh, okay, guy's an evil villain.
It depends how you laugh. I mean, if you really go with
if you're over 180 pounds under pressure, you're not going to get out a good jolly laugh.
Just comes out very maniacal. You're like, oh, that guy's got some evil plans.
Yeah, I like podcasts when I'm doing cardio because it makes the time go by faster, because I don't like running on the treadmill. So I'll just listen to a podcast for like half an hour and be like, yeah, damn, half an hour really flew by. But when I'm lifting, I'm like, absolutely, it's got to be music.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the problem is like I'm never like looking to get through it quicker. It's more like I'm looking to get the most out of it. So I always feel like I like need to get myself like a little bit more energized or whatever, and usually music helps that. I mean, I guess I should just take pre-workout or like caffeine or whatever beforehand, but I've always been nervous that I get like too dependent on that, which like I guess I'm definitely dependent on music, but
That's
I
funny.
don't know. I
That's where
like
I was
that.
gonna that's where I was gonna go with that. Is that sometimes like you're not gonna have music in your ears when you're like playing a sport necessarily. So like what's gonna drive you then? Like because like yeah, if you drink caffeine like before every workout, there's an argument to be made that like without the caffeine, you're not gonna be as good because you need the caffeine to reach those numbers.
Right. I
And
guess
so it's like, do you need the music to reach whatever numbers you're reaching?
honestly, I think you're more convincing me. I don't know if this is your intention. I think you're more convincing me that I should be doing pre-workout because my main concern is that like the workout itself should get me like the most gains as possible. Like if I actually like am playing a sport or like doing an activity, I'm not worried that I like won't be able to perform in the moment because presumably there'll be some amount of like adrenaline and like, innate enthusiasm due to like the activity at hand. But like if I'm just like trying to train, I feel like usually enthusiasm's lower in those moments by yourself, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, to push
uh,
this to the extreme, I would say there's probably some small benefit in order like to be taking boner pills, so that way you get the blood rushing. Like it just the way that like affects your body chemistry. Like there's probably like a small benefit. So like if you take pre-workout and listen to music and then take Viagra, you're gonna have a little bit better of a lift than if you didn't take that Viagra. But now the next time you go in the gym, in order to achieve those same good results, you need to take that Viagra again. Is that something you're willing to do, to take a boner pill like before you work out every time just to make the best bang for your buck on the workout?
did you have to
On the
use
work.
the verb bang for your buck in that analogy?
I'm obviously like being like facetious here and
No, I know
joking
you are
around.
because like realistically, no one's gonna spot me either at that point. Like they just
Yeah,
be like, "Yo, I'm out."
I mean it's an interesting thing to think about. Like, I don't think that's your only problem. That no one's gonna
Yeah, I mean,
spot you.
running wouldn't be easy either. Like there would be a lot of problems since I don't think this goes well.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to music and podcasts during cardio and lifting weights.
And take Viagra.
I don't do that yet. Once I reach a plateau, but I honestly like I drink caffeine in the morning, and then yeah, I don't really drink caffeine right before a workout, but like before a tryout or something important, I drink caffeine like before a tournament and stuff. So I mean, to each their own. Like I kind of just like save the caffeine for that extra boost. So like it's not every single workout, but like like I save it for like important stuff, if that
I
makes
feel like
sense.
there's also definitely a fine line. Like if I have too much caffeine and I get like jittery, I feel like that doesn't help. Like I feel like I move too far past and then I'll crash in like 25 or 30 minutes and just feel sluggish. So like yeah, you definitely got to be careful I think if you're throwing caffeine in the mix, but
No, that's a really good point.
I still just can't get over the idea of Nikki like walking around the gym just like listening to the ambient music because I feel like the other problem for me is like I like my music pretty loud, like probably to the point that they're like, "Hey, your music shouldn't be that loud." And I feel like the music at the gym is never loud enough for me to be like, "Yeah, this is good. I could do this."
Yeah, I don't know. I, whatever. It's whatever for me. I'm
I mean,
happy I showed up to the
yeah,
gym.
to each their own for sure. And I've heard those cycling classes are great. I've not done one yet.
Oh my God. The guy whooped us today. He's like this dude from France, and he is so into cycling. Like, I feel like he's like world renowned. I- And he like, I've never been in a class where like they kept all the lights down, like pretty much off, and then there was just like these purple lights on him, and he had like EDM music playing.
Oh,
It was a really hard class. I've never been so whooped after class. My face was completely red. I felt dead, but now I feel so awesome and energized.
And I think that the drum and bass that most EDM music has is like really, I don't know, something about that with cardio. Like you just get going to like a good rhythm, and I feel like it makes it, I don't know, that much more enjoyable.
Yeah. And he kept like looking at me and he was just like, "You're doing good." And I'm like, when the teacher looks at you and they say you're doing good and then you want to like keep trying to, please them and then you're secretly like just dying inside.
Yeah.
So that was going on.
Yeah, even when I'm just like running like around like people I don't know and whatnot, if I see somebody else coming the other direction, I'm like, oh, I gotta like run a little faster now. Like there's somebody here who's like aware of me running.
Some of them really get in your face, like they get off the bike and then they come right up in your face, like harder, go. And like like I will just kill myself on the bike and do everything they say. And then I just telling my sister that I'm like, I am getting so whooped, and she's like, that's because no one actually does what they say. You're probably like going way too hard. And, but they're always like, well, they're always like, well, this one is where you're gonna burn the most calories and get the most results, but you got to do it how I say. And I'm just like, oh god. And then I look around and everyone's going like half speed, and me and the instructor are just like revving it out. Yeah, there's some instructors who people are like really into, like they just attached to them kind of.
Yeah, the more attractive ones.
It happens to be that way a little bit.
I like that Nikki like started like, I mean, I don't think that's it. And it's like, well, no, that's probably part of it for sure too. Yeah.
They're in super good shape.
I like that we started off the new year like podcast talking about fitness, because I feel like that is a common resolution for most people, that they're going to get in better shape.
Dude, the gym tonight, I've never seen it so packed. And I'm like, I was thinking, it's like a Thursday. There's the Omicron variant out there. I'm sure there'll be nobody there. And then I could not even find a parking spot. It was insane. And there's definitely a lot of girls just doing resistance training too.
Yeah, I mean, but there's plenty of girls that are like, "Ooh, I don't want to resistance train because I'm gonna look bulky. I'm gonna build muscle." And then my argument to that would be like, like ask men in their 20s and say like, am I gonna get bulky if I lift a couple times a week? They'd be like, "Fuck, I wish I could get like muscular lifting a couple times a week." Like it's not that easy. Like you're not gonna accidentally get buff.
I accidentally got so buff.
Yeah. I mean, there's men there's hard gainers like struggling, like going to the gym like 4 times a week, like with proper nutrition, like just struggling to put on muscle. And and like some women are just like, well, if I lift, then I'll put. If I lift once a week, then I'm gonna put on too much bulk.
Oh my god, I got way too buff.
Yeah,
can we lead the podcast with that? Yeah, I mean, I think people say until about March. That's usually when a lot of people are like still really trying to push to be like, this is the year, like I'm gonna get in shape and like get used to all this stuff and this and that. And I guess that's about the time that everybody falls off or changes their mind or realize they don't care that much.
March is that year in 2020 was particularly difficult to sustain some New Year's resolutions after March.
I was gonna say, to be fair, I think March of 2020 kind of threw everybody's like patterns out the window.
But last year, my New Year's resolution was to walk 10,000 steps every day, and I did that until August.
How many miles is that? It's like 2,000 as a mile.
It's like 5 miles a day. Because then I got to September, and I was like, I mean, I'm playing a lot of Ultimate Frisbee. I don't need to get these steps in like every single day. And like my goal.
You guys don't walk 10,000 steps a day? Like I feel like that's pretty easy.
No. No, I don't. I personally don't think so. Every single day I was away. I like had to try to get 10,000 steps. There was never maybe like out of the like 200 like days I did it. there's maybe like 10 that I got there by accident.
Wow.
Maybe like
I'm
10
gonna
to
check my
15.
Fitbit because I don't know if there's a day I don't hit 10,000. Like sometimes I hit 20,000.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's tough because when you don't work a job that involves you like moving around, like I technically for work, like I don't ever have to like leave a computer. I mean, I
Oh my
obviously can
gosh.
choose to, and I do. Like I get up, I walk around, I go downstairs, go outside, whatever. But yeah, I feel like when it's not required, like I definitely get whatever like my workout for the day is, or activities that I do or things like that. But like I'd be surprised if I walk multiple miles like by accident throughout my day.
I don't really feel like walking steps really amounts to anything though.
The way I describe it is it's your non-exercise activity. So like it kind of does compound on itself. Like and your heart rate will get lifted if you walk for like more than 5 or 10 minutes. So I do consider it a form of cardio. But it's not going to like dramatically improve your stamina like lifts or hit, but it will increase your overall calories burned in a day. And tally that up over a week. I mean, it's a significant enough difference to lose weight or to gain weight if you stop doing it and eat the same amount.
Huh.
That was part of my reason for starting to do 10,000 steps because I think it's a good number that it's not too much that it's never going to like negatively affect you. Like if you're sore, it's a positive number to hit because it will like get the blood flowing and help promote recovery. But it's not a low enough number that like you're not doing anything, that you're not getting a benefit. And so like I ended up, I mean, that's not the only reason, but like it helped me lose like 30 pounds.
Really?
Last year.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think it was like a
Oh, I'm
mindset change
surprised.
too.
So on those days, Dev, did you like literally just go walk then, or like what was?
Like during the preseason, I would say I lifted 3 days a week, and that gets a good amount of steps in, like especially if you're walking in between sets. So then I would only have to go for like maybe 1 30-minute walk that day. But then there was days where like I would go for a run. And if you go for a 4 mile run, then like you're easily going to get 10,000 steps in. But I would typically more run like 2 to 3 miles. So
Okay.
there were days I went on like 3 different walks, just like 20-minute walks. The way I like the quick math in my head is that every 1,000 steps is about 10 minutes of walking. So however you want to split that up. But like the biggest thing is going to be diet too. You have to eat less, or you have to eat less calories in order to lose weight.
It's so hard to eat less.
That's why doing 10,000 steps and doing more cardio is beneficial for some people, because then you can eat more because there's more calorie because you burned more calories. But it's just a kind of a losing battle to do it that way because then your body adapts to that cardio. And like this is a good thing for sports. Like I'm not saying that I'm the optimized healthiest person because I'm training for a sport. So like it's different than if I'm just trying to train for overall health. Because training for a sport, you do want to get the adaptations you get from cardio. You do want to improve your stamina. But the thing that comes along with that is to burn the same amount of calories, you have to do more. So like a 2 mile run that burnt a certain amount of calories, once you adapt to that 2 mile run, then you got to do 3 miles and 4 miles and keep on going and going and going. And it takes longer and longer and longer. And it's harder and harder and harder to burn the same amount of calories because your body's adapting. So like if you're using cardio as your catalyst to lose weight, it's just going to get harder and harder and harder. So like you have to adjust your diet if you want a long-term approach. If you want to lose 5 pounds in 3 weeks, then cardio is great. But then like if you want to but then you're just going to gain that weight back if you don't address your diet.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I lost 10 pounds and then I put it back on. But it wasn't even worth it. Like I'd rather just eat what I eat and not be hungry. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have like a ridiculous appetite.
I don't think
about you, but
yeah, I don't think we ever talked about that.
Oh my God, it's insane. Like at lunch right now, we have free lunches and I asked my coworkers to go get me a second lunch for free. And I eat both of them, and everyone just looks at me like, "What is wrong with you? Where are you putting this?" And I'm like, "I have a freaking insane appetite. It's ridiculous."
It's probably all those cycling classes.
Probably just my running around like a chicken with my head cut off at work, hitting 10,000 steps at like noon.
On the Ultimate subreddit the other day, I don't know if you had seen this, Devin, but they asked what your preferred surface is to play on, and I don't know why I thought it might be close. It's like, your pretty common options like grass. I think turf was a separate option from grass, and then like indoor, which presumably meant like I guess hard court or turf, and then beach, and I think somebody might have thrown like snow in there, which I was like, well, that's not like a common one. But the point
I
is,
would think grass would have overwhelmingly.
it did, yeah. But I was
Yeah.
gonna say, since you guys all have obviously played Wildwood, like I am a pretty big fan of Beach Ultimate. Like I might say I like that more, or at least equal to like standard grass. And I was surprised that Beach wasn't closer. I think Beach is like really cool. And the 2-pointers, I mean, maybe that's like Wildwood specific. I don't
Yeah,
think
that
like
might be Wildwood
real
specific.
Beach.
No, I really enjoyed Wildwood this year, and I do enjoy Beach Ultimate. Think I enjoy regular grass sevens more, but I think there is like I know when I played Bandits, they asked me like, "Do you prefer grass or beach or grass or sand?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are we talking about?" Like, yes, I prefer grass. I'm playing Club Ultimate with the Ultimate team that plays on grass. But like apparently like that team really likes going to beach tournaments, and so they played in a bunch. They played in as many beach tournaments as they did grass.
That's
So like
awesome.
so yeah, it is a different brand. If Ultimate makes it into the Olympics, it's not going to be 7-on-7 grass. It's going to be 4-on-4 beach.
What? Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the proposal they're submitting to the committee to hopefully get approved for like Los Angeles in 2028.
That's crazy. I hadn't heard that. Are they going to do single gender, or would it be like multiple different divisions, or?
I think it's mixed. I think it's going to be 2-2. So 2 men.
Really? Holy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's going to be awesome to watch.
Yeah, I honestly don't know if we have a chance, but the reason why they're doing this is because they need to like limit the amount of people participating. Like the big sports that are getting added are sports like climbing and skateboarding, and even like things like squash. These are all like individual or double sports. Like climbing is one person, skateboarding is one person. Team sports are not being added. Like to have a full roster of like 20 plus people isn't going to work to get into the Olympics. So they needed to figure out a better way of doing it. So like a total roster of 6 people is much more marketable and much more likely to get in. And then doing it on beach, which is already like on sand, there's already resources, so you don't have to set up, you don't have to get field space. Like there's already, beach like sand set up for the Olympic Games. So like that also changes the logistics there. So like I'm like all for it. Like do whatever you can to get in. I just don't know if they're going to, but this is like their best valiant effort. And like people are like, well, it's not as good. Like the strategy isn't going to be as good. I'm like, well, I'm sorry that like your ideal way of playing Ultimate isn't good enough to get into the Olympics. I mean, it's small steps.
I would almost argue that the Olympics ought to maybe like choose a direction of like aim for more like individualized competition or team competition, and or like split them into like different years or something, because like I guess most of like the big things like soccer, obviously the World Cup happens all the time, and I guess for the most part basketball in general is the NBA, and stuff like that. So it's kind of like I guess most of these large well established sports already kind of have like a super impactful like league or season or thing outside of the Olympics anyway. And I guess like Frisbee obviously has worlds, so I guess that is like the Olympics of Frisbee. But yeah, I think in general though, comparing like super well established sports to less established ones is going to be tough because there's just not the same draw of money.
Money, 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 money.
Who was your New Year's kiss, Nikki?
Oh, so actually at New Year's, I did something different this year. I looked around at.
I thought I was going to be your fiance, but all right.
Yeah, here we go.
Long
Nikki
story
doesn't immediately
incoming.
answer.
I looked around. I was in this huge crowd, like watching the ball drop. And I just looked around at everybody else and watched them kiss. And then I looked at my one friend who didn't have anything, and he just started touching his chest, and I took a picture. And I seriously think this could be the most like iconic picture of 2022. Because everyone is kissing and it's beautiful, and then this one guy just like has his hand down his shirt. and then I kissed Kevin.
I handed Courtney a glass of champagne like maybe 30 seconds before the ball dropped. And she took that as a cue so that when the ball drops, like 3, 2, 1, you drink all the champagne and and leave your boyfriend or fiance just there trying to kiss you. You kiss when the ball drops, and then you drink the champagne. You don't drink the champagne.
Really?
You don't jug the champagne when the ball drops and then kiss. That's stupid.
Hey, dude, drinking versus love. You know, you gotta set your priorities
I did the
straight.
same thing.
I mean, look, I would have been on board for that. I just was surprised that's where her priorities were.
Devin got engaged.
Woo!
We even talked about it.
Well, you know, it's funny because that time we recorded it was like the day before I was going to do it, and like
we all hung out that night.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Time.
That was a good time. We stayed up real late. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then we watched you carry out the front door. So, yeah.
That was fucking hilarious. He's heavy, and I picked him up. Right, you saw that? Like that wasn't easy. Yeah. And then trying to walk him, he like refused to. Like he was actively fighting against walking. And so there's 2 sets of doors. One door like you can just walk through. The other one you need a key to scan in. We get through the first set of doors, and those are the ones that lock and need the key. And he immediately like stands up and starts walking. He's like, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom. And I was like, bud, dude, like I don't even have the key, so I can't even let you in if I wanted to. Like, just come out here and pee on a tree. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I was like, don't worry about it. Just pee on the tree. He's like, no, I'm going back in. And he like pulls on the door and he just yanks on it. It's not budging. Like he just like, and I was like, I told you. And he turns around and he takes the vape out of his pocket and he smokes it. And then he takes the vape and he rubs it all over the key scanner, thinking that would scan him into the. And I was like, oh, bud, no, dude, I already tried that earlier. It doesn't work, dude. I'm sorry. But that was like one of the funniest things I've ever seen, him trying to use the vape to key scan in.
I didn't see that part. I just saw, like, I mean, I came later and I could tell he was by far the drunkest because I don't think I saw him stand up out of that chair for like hours. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is hammered. That's awesome. And then you guys carrying him out, and that's the last I saw. I wish I had seen the vape thing. That's funny.
He was very, very sweet. He like wanted to make sure my house had enough alcohol and everything for everybody. And I was like, yeah, I definitely do. Like, I was like pretty confident. So I was like, half the people here are going to be driving home, so they're only going to have a glass of champagne or 2. And,
right.
And he ended up buying like an extra 30 rack of Millers and like 2 bottles of Deep Eddies flavored vodka. And then like when I was assessing the next morning, like we had probably 28 Millers and 2 full bottles of Eddies. So I was like, I think
that's a really good one. Probably the best one we've ever done.
No, it's not.
No,
the best we've ever
nothing's
done.
gonna live up to the Christmas extravaganza holiday thing. That was my parents loved it. They thought it was so good.
Oh, we do have to give your parents a shout out because that was the sweetest thing that made my whole week. Their voice messages.
Really?
Oh, I kind of wanted to play it on this episode, to be honest.
Oh God.
All right, so this is your mom.
Just speak. Hi, Alex. This is Nikki's mom. I want to tell you I really, really, really enjoyed the podcast about the Christmas holiday movies. It really was extremely funny. Enjoyed every bit of it. Happy New Year.
And this is your dad.
So sweet. That was so sweet. I love that.
And here's your dad.
Alex, Mr. Max here. Hey, great show. It was really funny, and it's a good thing you have my daughter Nicole as the top comedian on that. But you really do a great job on it. The way you host it, it was just was fantastic. Okay, keep doing the amazing job. Happy 2020.
22.
2022.
Perfect.
Oh,
Wasn't
that's
that
nice.
sweet?
That's nice. I like
So
that.
sweet. Yeah. They were kind of like nervous to say something. And then my dad felt bad that he didn't say everyone was good because he was like, everyone's so good. I should have said everyone. I'm like, oh, you're fine.
No,
No.
just Alex.
Well, he liked, yeah, he doted on Alex and me, but he really thought like everyone did a really good job. He thought you guys were all funny.
Yeah, we gotta step our game up, dude.